I'm actually really excited about this show today because we're going to dive into what a Saints fan's perfect offseason would look like. So what I did is I posted a graphic on my Twitter account. I asked for people to respond, and so we're going to include those responses, and we're going to include the responses in the comment section in today's video about what Saints fans want this perfect offseason to look like. So if you want to get in the future video, you want to be featured next time on the show, feel free to hit me up on X at Girouard48. You see it right here. You see it right here. You also see it in the comments and description of this video. I post a lot of Saints content. I have a lot of fun hot takes, fun graphics, interactive, informative content, and I'm just trying to, increase my social media game a little bit. So feel free to hit me up if you want to be featured in a show next time. So this was the graphic that I posted. I posed this question, and let's react to your ideas. This was the post. I posted this graphic. I thought it was a pretty good little thing. What is your offseason wish list, Saints fans? And the most popular response, and by no shocking factor whatsoever, fire Mickey Loomis. The biggest thing that New Orleans Saints fans want to see, according to the responses on my social media and in my comment section, as I see right now on Saints Now by Chat Sports, live right now, every Wednesday afternoon. The most popular response is, we got to fire Mickey Loomis. And I cannot say that it shocks me whatsoever. I think that Mickey Loomis has been not great, to say the least. I don't think he has the most illustrious resume over the past few seasons. I also will say this. I don't expect the Saints to fully rebuild. I don't think that the New Orleans Saints are going to tear this all the way down to the studs and hire a new GM. And I could be wrong. And to be totally honest, I wouldn't hate if I'm wrong. Mickey Loomis has been the longest tenured GM that is actively a general manager right now in the National Football League. And, to a certain extent, that says something. But like I said earlier, he doesn't have the most illustrious and the most beautiful resume in recent memory. And with the National Football League, and especially fans, it's, what have you done for me recently? And, we can go back to this report from Ian Rappaport not too long ago. And he said that New Orleans isn't planning an overhaul. Maybe they definitely plan to get younger. They definitely plan to clear up some cap space here and there, but they're not trying to tear things down to the studs. They're not trying to completely rewrite this football team. So when it comes down to whether or not Mickey Loomis should be fired, I think that realistically, if there's a change, the biggest thing is he'll just take a step down, or he'll take a step to the side, or have a new role, and maybe like Kai Harley or somebody can get promoted to GM. But according to Saints fans, they all want Mickey Loomis fired. That was evident by the post on social media. That's evident in the live chat, and that's evident by the comment section on my YouTube channel. Now, I want to go into some of the responses from Twitter. DeWright saying many wants. He's got many, many wants for the team. But a definite need is a quarterback to navigate the pocket. And so I'm going to go ahead and just tag team this one. A quarterback that can navigate the pocket. I can get jiggy with that. I like that idea. But Ronald Davis posed a pretty interesting one. What about Justin Fields? We've talked about Justin Fields coming to the Saints on this channel a handful of times in the past. But when it comes down to him this upcoming offseason, he will be a free agent. If you remember, the Bears traded Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And ever since then, he's kind of taken a backseat to Russell Wilson. And they've kind of favored Wilson over Fields in the recent weeks. And I do believe that you could possibly get Justin Fields on a team-friendly, prove-it type deal. Maybe it works out long-term, maybe it doesn't. But in 2024, 65.8 completion percentage, 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And on top of that, when you talk about Justin Fields, you also have to address the fact that he is a good runner. 61 carries, 281 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground. He's averaging over 4.5 yards per carry. As a quarterback, I can get down with that. And to be totally honest, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's somebody in the draft, whether it's somebody internal like Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler, I'm tired of watching Derek Carr. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of watching uninspiring, not fun football. I'll say this, at least when Jameis was around, we were having a good time. At least the vibes were fun. At least the locker room was bought in with him. I'm not saying that the locker room's not bought in Derek Carr, but look, his biggest supporter being Dennis Allen isn't a part of the team anymore. I'm in the camp of I think Justin Fields could be a really fun addition. There is, of course, a lot of options in the draft. For me, in a perfect scenario, I'm in the camp of don't draft a quarterback this year and go get Arch Manning in the following year. I'm just all for going and getting Arch. I don't care that it's, far down the road. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in going and getting a Shedeur, a Cam Ward, a Will Johnson. I don't care. I don't want a quarterback this year. You can either run it back with Carr, you can cut him, save $30 million, and run it with Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, or shit. Maybe you go and sign Justin Fields and one of these other free agent quarterbacks that'll hit the market. I'm just tired of Derek Carr, so I want to hear what you guys have to say. If it comes down to these two players, give me a DC for Derek Carr or a JF for Justin Fields. Who do you want to be the quarterback next year if it's between these two guys? I don't think it's going to come down to it, but I do think that this is a conversation to have. I would love to see Justin Fields. At least it would be fun. At least you'd be able to see him escape the pocket. At least you'd be able to see him run the football every once in a while. I think that'd be a hell of a lot more fun than watching Derek Carr continue to throw it out of bounds and hold on to the ball too long. Now, if you do want to go watch the New Orleans Saints play, or if you want to go get tickets to the New Orleans Pelicans or any of these teams in the Gulf Coast region, or really all across the country, I highly encourage you to download the Game Time app. You can get $20 off your first purchase if you use code CHATSPORTS. That's CHATSPORTS. Use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply with that. But Marshawn Lattimore returning to the Superdome, and it will be the first time that he rocks a Commanders uniform. That'll be on December 15th. So if you want to see Sean back in the Superdome, you can get tickets for pretty cheap. $20 off your first purchase. You look at the ticket prices right now. I mean, I'm seeing $36. I'm seeing $40. You're pretty much getting those tickets for over half off. I think that's a pretty good deal if you ask me. Game Time also has a brand new feature called Game Time Picks. It filters out the fluff, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets that you know you're not interested in anyway. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Download the Game Time app, redeem code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. Reminder, download the Game Time app. What time is it? It is game time. All right, now Austin Stevens, he did send me this tweet, or he replied with this post. I thought it was pretty interesting, and I love the idea of going to get Ashton Jeanty. But Austin, I want to just say I appreciate you for watching the content. I appreciate you following me. In case you didn't know, Austin does work as the New Orleans Saints game day stat reporter, which is pretty cool. He works up in the press conference for the New Orleans Saints, so maybe he has a little in here. I don't know. That'd be pretty dope. I'm just kidding. Anyway, long story short, I love the idea of going and getting Ashton Jeanty. But if he's off the board at the New Orleans Saints pick, or if the Saints view other positions a bigger need, let me introduce you to Cam Skattebo. And I did put out a full 7-round mock draft yesterday. It's actually been getting a pretty good amount of views. So if you guys want to see who I want the Saints to select in my first 7-round mock draft, I highly encourage you to go check it out. It's linked in this video. Cam Skattebo. This guy runs like a freaking Mack truck. He is very hard to tackle. He is running at you a mile a minute. He is a reliable pass catcher, and he is really good as a dual threat running back because he can run and pound the rock, or he can catch the ball and break away for a long game at any point in the game. He is a north and south runner, but he also does have the lateral quickness to be able to move east and west to avoid tackles and create space. And you see the production on the screen. He has been absolutely phenomenal. 17 touchdowns on the ground, 2 through the air for Cam Skattebo in the Arizona State Sun Devils. I would love this option. I do think running back is a need for the New Orleans Saints. I don't think it's the biggest need, but I do like the idea of a running back group of Alvin Kamara, Kendre Miller, and Cam Skattebo. I think that could be a really good addition. Jamal Williams, in my opinion, is not a part of the long-term future. I think the Saints move off of him this offseason, and I think Cam could be a really excellent addition on day 2, more likely day 2. I know I have day 2 or 3 draft target, but he strikes me more of a day 2 pick. Then I think it's only going to get better, and his draft stock's only going to rise as we go through the pre-draft process. Now let's talk to sad who dat boy, make Saints great again. Unfortunately, that is something we have to do, is make this team great again. A wide receiver room that doesn't look like a high school roster. And actually, we're live on Saints Now by Chat Sports as we are filming this video. We go live every Wednesday afternoon, so subscribe, turn on your notice so you can join the program. J-Mo, he also added this to it. I want a playmaker receiver. So I think I can just go ahead and combine these two. You want a receiver? You also want depth? You want a guy who can make some plays? Well, I got some options for you. Let's go to the draft first. You can go get Tetairoa McMillan. I do think that he is a really good wide receiver. Luther Burden, in my personal opinion, could be more realistic as a Saints draft pick. I think Tet McMillan could go before this New Orleans Saints pick. Emeka Egbuka, I really like Ohio State wide receivers. They tend to work out. Isaiah Bond, he was really good for Alabama. He's been really good for Texas. And Tre Harris is a bigger-bodied guy. I'd like to see him line up as an X receiver. I think that that's something that the New Orleans Saints are missing. And to be totally honest, any of these 5 guys on the screen, if they went to the New Orleans Saints in round 1 or round 2, I'm through the roof about that. But if you wanted to address it in free agency, if you didn't have the ability to draft one of those guys, or if you wanted to just get higher level, higher experienced talent in the wide receiver room, you can go the free agency route. T. Higgins will be a free agent this offseason. So will Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, and Stephon Diggs. And obviously with Stephon Diggs, he is a player who had a very bad injury for the Houston Texans. He'll have to get through that and rehab that injury in order to return next year. But needless to say, he's still a talented wide receiver, and he's still a player that no matter what, a defensive coordinator has to plan for. Now, another really popular idea, and I didn't really want to include it off the top because, I think that there's just more important things that you guys had to say. But a really important idea and a really popular idea behind Fire Mickey Loomis was a diverse coaching search. It's not let's go look at just a handful of guys internally. It's let's look at special teams coordinators. Let's look at offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, former head coaches, college coaches, all of it. Let's go through a full diverse coaching search. And I agree with that. I don't really want to hire a college coach, but I think that it's important to get as many interviews as possible. I think it's important for the New Orleans Saints to address as many people as possible, because right now there's no one guy who has stuck out and been the guy, in my personal opinion. I think Darren Rizzi has made a really strong case to return to the New Orleans Saints. But if they want to go and get another guy, I don't think it should be limited to internal hires between Kubiak and Darren Rizzi. Go in and interview Aaron Glenn. Go interview Ben Johnson if you can get him to come down to New Orleans. Interview some of these top candidates so that way we can possibly see the best outcome for the New Orleans Saints, and we can go ahead and speed this rebuild up a little bit. I also really like the idea of Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, out in Buffalo. Now, let me get your opinions here, Saints fans. We've been talking a lot about what you guys have to say. Who should be the New Orleans Saints head coach next season? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say because, totally honest, I like the idea of a Darren Rizzi, but I also think that there's some really good candidates out there that the Saints have to at least bring in for an interview. So get down in the comments. I want you to sound off and put your GM hat on for me. Now, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. For more interactive content that gets you guys on the show, we do some things very differently at Chat Sports. And one of those things is audience interaction, and it's Chat Sports. It's not Trizzy Sports. We're having a two-way conversation. I want you to be a part of my show just as much as I want my show to be a part of your day. So be sure to subscribe, lock us in, Who Dat Nation, and y'all stay golden. We will see you next time.